A heavy silence reigned in the Vellora forest, as if it had stopped breathing for a long time. In 1986, a terrible nuclear disaster occurred at the Vellora Prime plant, destroying much of the area around the plant. The incident not only devastated human life, but also distorted the rich ecosystem here. As radiation levels skyrocketed, residents were forced to leave, leaving the city of Vellora in ruins. The once bustling streets were suddenly deserted, leaving only rubble and invasive weeds. Houses, schools, and shops were abandoned, revealing traces of a happy life that once existed. The forest around the plant, once the pride of Vellora, became a strictly forbidden zone. Everything seemed to stop, enveloped in a gloomy and desolate atmosphere. Over the years, the picture in Vellora has changed little, as time seems to have frozen. However, quietly behind the scenes, nature has been quietly nurturing a new story. A secret project was launched last November by a group of enthusiastic scientists. They installed 42 cameras in the areas with the highest radiation levels in the Vellora forest. Their goal is to monitor animal activity, examining the real impact of radiation on wildlife populations. The work requires the utmost caution, as radiation levels are still high and even the slightest mistake can be dangerous. The scientists hope to find concrete evidence of changes in the fauna, and from their proposed environmental solutions. In the early days, they only expected to observe small rodents and insects, creatures that are usually very tolerant. However, the cameras quickly revealed a much more vivid picture. Forest creatures began to appear on the screen: deer, rabbits, and even some migratory birds. Gradually, the data showed that the animal population here was even exploding in numbers. It was the first evidence that the Vellora ecosystem was not completely dead, but just dormant. The first discovery that surprised scientists was the massive appearance of wild boars. They seemed to not only survive, but also thrive. Horses of wild boars roamed among the ruins, adapting to the new environment. Looking at the large herd of wild boars, scientists suddenly realized that they were finding a rich source of food. Because there were no humans, the old farm was now a field full of wild grass, providing a large amount of natural food. Not only that, the dense vegetation also helped them hide and avoid danger. This advantage made the wild boars almost occupy the edge of the forest. They became the first sign that Mother Nature was beginning to restore balance. Footage of the herd of plump, healthy wild boars was widely shared by scientists. That was the first good news after decades of hardship for Vellora. Following the appearance of wild boars, cameras recorded more and more wolves. For a long time, wolves were thought to have left the area, due to lack of food sources and concerns about radiation. However, now they return at night, following the herd of wild boars and hunting in the wild fields. The image of a majestic gray wolf, lurking among the ruined trees, made scientists both overwhelmed and excited. The wolf pack also showed signs of reproduction. Some wolf pups were discovered playing under the canopy. This proves that the Vellora forest has become a favorable environment for the food chain. Looking at the wolf packs hunting wild boars, we understand that nature is operating according to its own laws. Abundant food and the absence of humans have helped the wolves recover somewhat. They no longer seem so fearful when loitering near abandoned buildings. It is as if Vellora had never experienced the terrible disaster of 1986. Sika deer, roe deer, and some other deer species have also appeared more and more regularly. They often hang around the small rivers, despite the remaining traces of radiation. This place has become a strange reserve, where animals freely roam the desolate landscape. Photos from the camera show healthy deer herds, smooth fur, and no obvious signs of mutation. Some deer are even larger than normal, making scientists suspect the possibility of a genetic reaction. But the fact that they grow without serious obstacles shows an amazing adaptation. It is from here that the hypothesis of nature's extraordinary resilience is increasingly reinforced. Seed-eating birds, insect-eating birds, and birds of prey have also returned, creating a vibrant forest scene. More and more rare birds have been recorded, such as eagle owls and hawks. The land of Vellora has unexpectedly revived with great promise. The most shocking discovery is the return of the Vellora lynx, a subspecies of lynx that was once thought to be extinct. Scientists were amazed when the camera captured the image of a majestic lynx, tiptoeing through the rubble. Its thick fur, pointed ears and graceful gait attracted the special attention of experts. They realized that this was not just a single lynx, but also a sign of the existence of an entire group of individuals. The return of lynx to this area shows that the environment has become safe, food-rich and stable enough for them to live. They often hide in dense trees, rarely showing themselves, only wandering at night. Known as the king of night hunting, in Vellora, the lynx seems to be gradually regaining its position. Videos of lynx hunting in the middle of the wild forest have moved many people. Who would have thought that a species that was thought to have disappeared would now proudly walk through the ruins of the past? This event opened up a completely new research direction for scientists. Surprise after surprise, one day, the image of a brown bear appeared on the surveillance screen. The Vellora brown bear had been absent from this place since the disaster, at least according to the understanding of the scientific community. Its return is not only good news, but also a big shock. Brown bears are omnivores, needing a large living area with abundant food sources. Its presence proves that the Vellora forest is now rich enough to support this giant creature. Scientists are excited but also worried about the level of radiation exposure that the brown bear may encounter. They observe behavioral characteristics, examine fur samples and analyze footprints to assess its health status. In particular, they find signs that not just one, but possibly many brown bears are present. The scene of brown bears wandering and foraging on the white snow that was once haunted by painful memories is truly touching. The return seems to be a miracle for Vellora. From all that evidence, the research team began to ask the big question: why did the radiation level not seriously affect the animal as predicted? Scientists believe that there may be two main reasons. First, over decades, radiation levels may have decreased significantly enough to not harm some of the species that are able to adapt. Second, the absence of humans, along with mining, hunting, and pollution, has opened up opportunities for the ecosystem to regenerate. This has sparked a series of in-depth studies, from genetics to ecology, to better understand the recovery mechanism. The research team also plans to make recommendations for the Vellora forest to be protected, preventing all forms of exploitation. If humans do not intervene, nature can reorganize itself, faster and more effectively than we think. The discovery in Vellora has changed many previous views on the long-term consequences of the nuclear disaster. People increasingly believe that, given the right conditions, Mother Nature is strong enough to regenerate herself. New hope is emerging from the ashes of the past. Now, the 1986 disaster at Vellora is not only a symbol of pain, but also a lesson in recovery. The forests that were once considered dead zones have become a refuge for hundreds of animal species. It reminds us of the magic of nature, that it will always find a way to survive and thrive. Given the chance, even the harshest places can become oases of life. Scientists have begun sharing the Vellora story with the international community, calling for cooperation to conduct further research. They hope that the Vellora observation model will help other areas that have suffered environmental disasters. A new chapter is opening, one of hope and rebirth. Vellora could become a global symbol of nature restoration, alongside valuable lessons about human responsibility. However, the painful memories will never fade, and we still need to be careful in every step. Only, it seems that this place has shown that, even in the darkness, life still finds its way. Dear friend, thank you for taking the time to follow the story. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel to support us.